So this is the launch of their ticker tape diplomacy, and I think everyone should have had hearing damage from this. And also, is there an AI in this thing? That's loud.
Mayor
It's
Holland,
loud.
there is a Delta event in the central shaft.
A Delta event?
What was it?
Propaganda, baby.
No.
Propaganda. I mean, it's not propaganda. It's just the truth.
It's like, the difference between propaganda and truth is if it worked out and was true, then fine. Okay, so my first thought about this is a boom. This is not like a firework where the fuel goes with the firework and then you get like, because like at the point of launch, there's actually very small amount of explosion. This is more like a cannon, like firing a projectile that doesn't have rocket with it. It doesn't have a fuel with it. This is like a big boom, and they're in a closed space. So if you make a big boom out in the wild, out in nature, that you have a hemisphere where the pressure wave can expand. But if you're in this enclosed space, then that pressure wave doesn't really have anywhere to go, which means that it reflects on itself and then damages people's hearing. Right? I mean, yes, there's some space in the vertical direction to expand. I don't know if it's enough.
Now, do you think the hearing loss from this big boom would be temporary or permanent?
That depends. That depends on the details of the boom. So I think if it's small enough, temporary. But if it's really big enough to mess up your eardrums, I think you're damaged hearing loss. And maybe not completely deaf, but there's some frequencies you're not picking up anymore.
Right. Yeah, and especially in mechanical with all the machine noise that they deal with all the time, plus things like this. Everybody's signing each other at this point.
Everyone has some degree of what? Like all the time.
All the time.
Ah.
And
then the other thing was, here. It's the AI. The AI says there's a Delta level event. Okay. Whatever the computer is in there.
Yeah.
What was
It says there's a Delta level event.
Well, let's go back.
There's a Delta event in the central shaft.
So that's weird because the computer is using all the sensors within the silo, and it sees like a rocket and like this thing and the parachute, and then the propaganda thing comes out, and it's like collating Delta event. What?
Right.
That's
So
really
does that
advanced.
mean that this legacy room has some type of AI?
I think it has to because
it's interpreting. It's not just saying like, "Hey, Mayor Holland, a loud sound happened." It's like figuring it out and classifying.
Right. To some like probably fairly vague classification system.
Sure.
And it's like able to figure out what just happened, and then that's a delta. That's advanced, which I think is consistent with interacting with the iPad, the tablet thing with your voice. I think that's AI as we know it.
I'm wondering if the reason. No, let's talk about it. We'll get there.
Okay.